Welcome to everybody to our Lost in Translation video series with my lovely and loved colleague Silvia King.
Und ein Grüezi und ein herzlich willkommen an alle, die heute bei unserer ersten Ausgabe von der Videoseries Lost in Translation dabei sind, mit der wunderbaren Roberta Pagliarullo.
Oh, okay. I got two words.
Hello, welcome back to Lost in Translation, a video series on cross-cultural encounters and how to navigate them successfully.
And today we are so pleased and delighted to have an amazing guest directly from Singapore, Francesco Maioli. Francesco has more than 15 years of international experience in fast-moving consumer goods for top Italian brands. He's been living and working all over the world, in Asia, in Russia, in South America, and he's been managing people and activities in many business areas like business development, marketing, finance. How many things, Francesco? Oh my God.
Too much. Too many things. Yeah, definitely.
Yes, and today he's here with us to share his experiences in multicultural context. And as we can see, he had many of them.
I think the first question that came to mind when I heard your really impressive CV, you working for Italian companies, how is it to translate Italianness and Italian products to clients in the Asia-Pacific region?
Well, first of all, thank you very much for inviting me. It's a pleasure to be here with you. Coming to your question, I like to talk about numbers, about figures, okay? Because when you talk about figures, you really realize what you're talking about, and you really have the picture. So it's a very good question because we think that Italian products are really very appealing for consumers all over the world, but actually there are big difference between Italian product in US or Italian product in China. Coming back to your question, yeah, it's very important to communicate and explain why we are the best food producer in the world, because at the end of the day, for a Malaysian consumer, pasta from Indonesia, it's the pasta,
Let's go back to your first time in Asia. Would you do something differently to avoid those, let's say, mistakes or misunderstanding? What would you do differently?
No, maybe I'm too good communicator, actually. Let's put it this way. I think that one of the main mistakes that we do is to be sure that somebody else understands what we're talking about. Again, let's bring the case of pasta. So for Italian people, it's normal to think that when we talk about pasta, we talk about Italian pasta, but it's not like that. I mean, for many consumers can be that the pasta is not exactly Italian. I mean, can be other country.
So let's say that your advice is don't take anything for granted, because even pasta, which is let's say an international food, it's not pasta that we mean in Italy everywhere. So, and this is really, I think it's completely fascinating. I never thought about it, about this, because I thought pasta, because I'm Italian also. So this is fascinating. Which other advice you can share with our participants and listeners, Francesco, talking about working multiculturally? For example, relationship with colleagues or with other stakeholders. What would you say, your advice?
Always be very humble, definitely, especially with Asian, because especially we are Italian, so we are very straight and direct. and this is not exactly a good approach. And then, of course, now we are talking about Asia, but you know, I mean, Japanese, Australian, Chinese, Hong Kong, Singapore. It's completely another story. But in general, you know, our approach, let's say the Western approach, is a little bit too direct, and in Asia, it's not exactly always a good idea to be direct.
Francesco, I have another question. What about expressing emotions? Because you have many experiences, not only in your professional life. What differences did you notice in the way that people express emotions all over the world, and especially where you're living?
There is a big gap between Western and Asian. In Asia, definitely, especially in the north of Asia, is you know, showing emotion is much less common than in Mediterranean area. Definitely.
Yes, Francesco, it was really fun to have you here. We had so much fun, and thank you so much, because your suggestions, and I have in my mind humble and calm as really
That's important.
an important suggestion to give in the multicultural approach. And so,
you know, I was thinking that my mom always used to tell me that I have to be humble and calm. So maybe I have some ancestors from China, you know, maybe. Well, it was not necessary to come to China, to Asia to learn that, because my mom always used to tell me this, but I reminded now, you know, what I was talking.
But it's an interesting point again, isn't it? Because we tend to think of culture and we have these national stereotypes, all Italians are like this, and yet your mother clearly seemed to espouse values that would be more Chinese than Italian. Well, thank you so much for really invigorating conversation. And I think my takeaway from the conversation is, when I go to another culture, the first thing I have is I go for a meal with somebody from that culture and enjoy their food.
And also culture is your roots, your beliefs, your values, and also it's nice to, in my opinion, to adapt to other cultures, and also to keep these beliefs from your culture in your heart to share with other people.
It was really a pleasure, ladies. Let's definitely keep in touch.
Thank you very much, Francesco. Thank you for being with us.
Thank you,
My
Francesco.
Bye.
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 Bye. Bye. Bye.
That was a fantastic conversation we just had with our guest, Francesco Maioli. Join us for our next edition of Lost in Translation, when we will again try and make sense for you how to navigate encounters across cultures.